Hello everyone, so today's adventures of XYZ at middle school will be quite a long discussion. We are going to discuss the influence of social norms in the classroom. This will be a content analysis. I will be observing how norms influence the interactions between the boys and girls in the Adaptive Support Center at XYZ Middle School with the male and female paraeducators. As when the students are upset, they begin to lash out. However, their calmness is at different intervals when a male or female paraeducator intervenes in the situation. Aside from using my own observations, I will also be using the internet and the class textbook to expand on what I'm seeing in the classroom in regards to norms. What interests me most about this topic is I have a younger sister who has disabilities and can relate to the children in the classroom. I have a special place in my heart for people with disabilities and want to see how norms play a role in the interaction between paraeducator, which I am one, as I noted before, and the students. Over the past several weeks, I have observed the interactions between students and paraeducators of XYZ Middle School and have noticed tendencies among these students. As the students began becoming more upset and volatile, the influence of their home life and that of the classroom was intermixing. Class norms are the behavioral expectations or rules of the class. That's by the University of Vermont. And just to let you all know, all of these citations will be in the description box below, so you can check them out for yourself if you so inclined. Where the students may display a certain behavior, where they interact with their assigned paraeducators in a certain manner to match the desired expectations that they believe are the correct ones. Charles Anderson, and Pauline Sangster, researchers from the University of Edinburgh, discovered that listening in a classroom is also influenced by norms as well. When we take a look at a typical classroom, girls will generally listen to female paraeducators, whereas boys will listen to male paraeducators, as is usually the case since the ruling figure has the most influence in the family, whether that be the mom or the dad. Let's look at a few examples. All these names have been changed for privacy reasons. So, Al has become erratic and running around the classroom, where he then proceeded to go out into the hallway. As I went to try and calm Al down, he stopped his behavior and surrendered to me without hesitation and was calming down. However, this did not last, as when a few female paraeducators tried to take Al back to class, he ran down the hallway, giving chase to the paraeducators, who subsequently cornered him, and he reacted, fight or flight, punching one paraeducator square in the jaw. In the textbook, The Kaleidoscope of Gender, Prisms, Patterns, and Possibilities, Scott Melser, a researcher of masculinities as well as gender and violence, explains this sudden outburst of anger through physical violence as a way for Al to see if he passes the test of masculinity. I love air quotes. Anywho, which is defending yourself and family from a dangerous situation. I brought his hands together, and again he looked at me in a calm manner. We then had another male paraeducator escort him to class, and Al's behavior went back to a normal state. This example told me a few things. 1. That Al must have a strong affinity with his father at home, or fears his authority. And 2. This transfers the subordinates into the classroom setting, in that Al does not like being cornered and really feels uncomfortable being surrounded by multiple females. Another example was when E was having manic episodes, where he began to have seizure-like symptoms all throughout the day. E was very agitated as well. I'm his one-on-one paraeducator. I'm with him all the time. However, he was just having a bad day. His manic episodes quickly went into seizure symptoms, where he began convulsing and banged his head on the table. Female teacher and myself took the necessary precautions to ensure E's safety. Once his grandma was called to come pick him up, I noticed that E was looking into the female's eyes more than mine, which could mean that in times of duress, He seeks out the comfort of women because his grandma is very kind and gentle to him. Looking at an example that actually transpired a few days ago, E was starting to show signs of being sick, and after confirming with the school nurse that he should be sent home, we waited until the grandma arrived. Before her arrival, E was very stressed, tired, and clammy in appearance. This changed the second he saw his grandma, though. His face brightened up, and he was excited to go home. Hooray! At first I thought that this was the influence of the Tylenol that the nurse administered to E, although his reaction was more ecstatic and relieved than a "I feel fine" mood. With both E's responses, they were based on his own interactions with female versus males, me, where he felt a more nurtured and cared for response where he was in times of distress. M is a student who enjoys taking off her socks and shoes whenever possible and only puts them on when a man tells her to. M enjoys playing on her iPad as she uses it to communicate and likes to collect loose bits of paper in the office. M displays ritualism as she goes to the office with a peer tutor or paraeducator at the same time every day and gathers the loose forms, then trots back to class with the peer or para in tow, literally. When she's working on a task, she gets distracted and proceeds to take off her socks and shoes and laughs and laughs and laughs about it. Even though she does this daily for attention, she will only listen to a male when they tell her to put her shoes and socks back on. These examples have shown me that each student has their personal preference, where ideally the association they have with their parents transfers to school, right? Where the gender of the paraeducator has an impact of the overall success of a changed behavior. I myself have seen the practice of teaching gender to the students at XYZ Middle School, where the peer tutors are matched with the same gender, boys to boys, girls to girls, segregating the students to interacting with their peers who are of the same gender, even if it is unintentional. Expectations are instilled upon children at the home and are transferred to school environment. During the past several weeks, I've studied the students at XYZ Middle School, whereas the students reacted in a volatile manner or refused to follow directions dependent upon the gender of the paraeducator. Even though E, L, and M have showed these behaviors of frustration or annoyance at various times, the gender of the paraeducator determines the success of the task that is given to the student, which is impacted by the influence of the norms that are present in the classroom. Again, everything will be cited in the description box below. Pardon me, I have my dogs sleeping in the background. So, here's my take on it. I do believe gender is instilled upon cultures and instilled upon generations as we continue to grow older. However, I believe that the older I get, the more I see it happening younger and younger. No longer is it only happening in high school as it was during, when I was in high school, but it's happening now in middle school, and even I'm seeing the start of it in elementary. The problem with this is we're kind of, I don't know, I guess our priorities are in the wrong area. It's just me. But, with all this talk about gender, various genders, people, I'm not going to get into that argument. Believe what you will. However, I look at gender being more of a broad view. Again, I'm looking at this as a sociology student, that the environment we live in contributes to the gender that we associate ourselves with. So if we are in a matriarchal society, right, we're going to associate ourselves as being more feminine. Or if we have a single mom, right, raising a bunch of boys, those boys become more feminine. If it's the opposite, a bunch of girls being raised by a male father only, then those females will then become more masculine, tomboyish, rough and tumble. That's that. It's not the evils of the patriarchy or some gobbledygook you want to pull out of your butt. It's basic facts. It's basic environment. How you are raised will determine, kind of where you're going on in the future. Now, you get all these conversations about, if your parents were divorced at a young age, it will then spiral into some adulthood epiphany to where you will not be able to land a job because of that reason. Oh, actually, the reason is because you're lazy. And you're just letting the environment affect you. So, that is what I'm trying to say, is that the social norms that societies have affect children that are learning in schools because the teachers and the paraeducators, I myself am one, we teach social norms to children. Now, the types of social norms that are taught depend upon the person. If you want to brainwash people, it's very easy, especially children, which I will get into a topic later on that one. That'll be a good one. So, thank you very much for watching this extended long version of my video. I have a few other ideas that I'm brainstorming right now that I'll probably do videos very shortly. So, thank you again for your time and have a lovely, lovely day. Be radical, everyone.